Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Brandon Evans with Premier Racing Setups. The best deal on iRacing for the next gen car. You get 2 builders, 1 setup pack, only $20 a month subscription. Get that average cost per week for setup down. This week we're at Las Vegas. A lot of fun, great track, some good tire wear, and great racing. So hang on with me here. We'll go through some laps and get you spun up for this week. I'm going to let one play out, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so the first thing that you're going to want to do here is you want to have a good straight entry, so when you can get it arced down into the corner. And what you don't want to do is be swinging up through this section and then hope to pull it back left. So you want to have get the car neutral on entry to the corner. So you want to be kind of up here by this dot, straddle this dot on the wall. You don't really need a lot of brake here, if at all. You'll notice in these laps that I don't use brake at all. But what I will use is the dots as my markers. So here's the first dot on the entry of 1. You want to kind of hit this dot with your left front tire, and then you want to get below the next dot down here on the bottom, or work towards that. You'll notice that the car is hitting the bumps a lot. This turn 1 is known for that. You'll even hear him talk about it on TV, I'm sure, whenever the race comes around next time, or if you go back and watch the broadcast. The next thing you want to do is kind of eye the exit here, and for me, again, it's these dots. We can kind of hit the left front tire on this dot, and eyeball here this caution light. The backstretch, you want to kind of stay a little bit away from the wall. There's a lot of wind at Vegas, so there's kind of a dot right here. So you just kind of keep your car right here. You definitely don't want to hit the wall. You'll see people trying to squeeze you up into the fence because they want to arc it into turn 3, which is a much tighter entry. My sight line here, my visual marker is going to be in and around this white line. Now, early, you can drive it as deep as these dots and have no problem, or somewhere in between. So right there, I chose to do halfway early in the run. Again, you want to hit this first dot and try to hit or just below the second dot right here through the center, and then get it down to the white line as low as possible early in the run. You'll notice I don't have a ton of wheel. There's a lot of banking in this corner, so there's not a ton of wheel in here. If you've arced it correctly and you've got the balance of the car right, you can really get it down to that bottom white line and roll the center pretty well. The other thing that's kind of rule of thumb, take the shortcut like I always do here on the apron, unless you have the draft. So the draft over shortcut. But if you're out by yourself in the lead, I would advise trying to take this. It also kind of stops competitors from trying to get under you on entry to turn 1. So you want to kind of defend the bottom. So you'll notice that this is a 4th gear setup. The lap fall off's pretty high here this week. So that 4th gear should work out perfectly later in the run. So again, you can see the car kind of bouncing around. I'm trying my best to get it down to the bottom. We're going to be below the white dot here through the center. So you can see we're really low on the racetrack. And then I'm going to eyeball this exit. And I've already been full throttle. So lots of grip. There, I drove it in super deep. I don't recommend doing that early in the run. Like, these lap times are probably on the higher end of where you would want to be to start the run. Draft dependent, of course. Now, you can almost flat-foot it through 1 and 2. You might even be able to in the right conditions. And I don't recommend doing that either. Lots of bumps, lots of chattering. You know, you can probably have a really good push lap where you try to clear somebody if you need to. But, you know, again, you need all the entry and all the exit space in order to pull that off in a great arc to comfortably be able to make it through the corner with good speed. So, again, we're just kind of trying to keep it on the bottom here. Get a good wide exit. You don't want to pinch the exit. You want to get the load off the tires as best you can here whenever you have a hot track. So there's an example of running the dots in 3 and 4, which is perfectly fine. You might find yourself doing that later in the run if you get loose. If you get loose, you can just walk it up the track just a little bit, move it up maybe a tire width or so to that next row. I don't think I would go all the way up into the middle of the track. There is a gnarly bump, or I call it a soft spot, but there's a soft spot, and it's like right in here. It's kind of hard to see if you can really see it at all, but it's just up above where I'm at, like up in here. And if the back end, if you hit that spot and you don't have the throttle up and the balance under you, and when you throttle up, you hit that spot, it's going to make the back end feel super squirrely, and you might have actually pushed loose through that spot. So I would just be really careful, really cautious through there. I'm not familiar with the track. There could be a tunnel under there that's causing the kind of a sinking effect in the racetrack. But anyway, be mindful of that. All right, so those are some laps around Vegas. Again, one of a really great racetrack, a lot of fun. Enjoy it. Thankfully, that iRacing decided to come back here after the NIS, where we didn't have A Open that week. So, again, I'm Brandon with Premier Racing Setups. Thanks for tuning in this week, and enjoy Vegas. Thanks.